who, qui moun, citoyen qui vivent dans la communauté ou de passage. Entrepreneur, professionnel, politicien, entrepreneur. Qui est-ce qui a aidé la communauté à avancer? Qui est-ce qui a fait le feedback?
Hello everyone. Once again, welcome and thank you for watching Who's Who, Kimoon Kikimoon. I'm Kelly Francois. As you already know, it is our job and it is a joy and pleasure for us to invite the professional, high-skilled professional to this show so that way we can keep you informed, to keep you educated, and as well as keeping you connected. New show, and definitely without a doubt, we have a new guest who we will be speaking to tonight. You'll find out as soon as we get back.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Greg Griffith, businessman, entertainer, public school educator, and now celebrated author.
Activate or stagnate. Activate or stagnate. 30 days to a new you in mind, body, and spirit. I challenge you to take the 30-day plunge.
Greg is a man with a tremendous amount of energy.
Thank you everybody for watching Who's Who. Without any delay, I'd like to go ahead and present our guest, our special guest, Mr. Gregory Griffith. Sir, I'd like to welcome you to Who's Who.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a great pleasure having you. This is Who's Who, Kimoon Kikimoon in Creole. Yes. And we would like to know who you are. So I'd like for you to share it with me and my audience, yes, and tell us who you are.
I'm the third of 5 children from Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up in Central Florida, I'm a fun in the sun, outdoors guy. So I grew up there, elementary school, middle school, high school, and graduated 1972 from Lato High School in Tampa, Florida. But to back up a moment, prior to Lato, before forced integration, I went to Middleton High School. Mm-hmm. And that was where it was just predominantly African-American education for me. But due to forced integration, by 12th grade, Lato High School was pushed upon me. I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go to school, and that was a wake-up call.
Wow.
You know, but the beautiful part of that is that I was out of school by noon.
Uh-huh.
So I learned to get part-time employment at an early age and started doing a lot of things and just taking care, in other words, getting my first car and doing a lot of things then during that age between 16 and 17. Graduated high school in 1972, and I went to college at Florida A&M University in Tallahassee.
So you originally came from Florida, or?
Yes, Florida. Tampa, Florida, was born and raised.
So you were Floridian?
I'm a Floridian.
Ah, okay.
Yes, and I left Tampa and went to Tallahassee in 1972, and I spent 4 years at Florida A&M University, and I got an undergraduate degree in business administration. And during the 4 years there, I was in the FAMU Marching 100. I'm a trumpet player. You know, I've been a musician all of my life, and at the age of 16, while I was still in high school, I started performing in nightclubs. And playing trumpet was what I started to do in middle school.
Okay.
You know, by the time I got to like 10th, 11th grade, my brother, Nelson Griffith, band leader, trumpet player himself, and probably the greatest motivator in my life at that time because my father was not around at that age. You know, and for him being the male figure that he was, and watching him go away to FAMU, and he'd gone to Florida A&M University,
right.
He'd been in the band, he played trumpet, and you know, to me it was like, honestly speaking, a great motivating factor to me that that's the school I want to attend, that is what I like to do, and I did it.
All
and
right.
that was one of the first realistic, should I say, goals that I had in my life beyond obviously getting a high school diploma. Went to FAMU, we call Florida A&M University FAMU. Went to FAMU, got in the band, played trumpet for a couple of years, but then my emphasis was on getting my business degree, and I was able to do that in the 4 years and get out in 1976. But for the duration of my 4 years in college, so you know, I was already on the entrepreneurial track. I was a band leader, I had bands, I was playing on the weekends and working all the time. So for your listeners and viewers, you know, starting whenever, you don't have to be 21. You can start whenever that bug hits you and you decide it's something that you want to live your dream and do.
Right.
So from the age of 16 through college, performing in nightclubs, band leader, you know, and so you'll understand, I learned to play bass guitar. In the 11th grade, my brother Nelson decided that he'd take all of my friends and I And he handpicked who would play what instruments.
Right, right.
So it was not by my choice. He said, Gregory, you're going to play bass.
He just handed it over to you, right?
He said, you just start learning this instrument. And honestly speaking, I was 16 years old, and I remember taking free lessons after school with my band director, Professor Michael Rodriguez at the time. And it was like a funded program to the community, something we need more of. I could actually stay after school, take free bass guitar lessons, and I learned to play bass by the age of 16. Learned it, loved it. It became like, it just became a part of me.
A part of you. So let me ask you this. So you're not only just a performer, but you're also a musician.
Yes.
So how many instruments would you say you play?
I started playing trumpet, played bass guitar, became a lead singer. I'm a producer and also a writer. You know, I can create on keyboards. I'm not a keyboard player. But my main instruments coming up were trumpet, and when I discovered playing bass guitar and I continued to play trumpet, you know, it's kind of ironic because my trumpet's upstairs calling me right now because I said to myself, seriously, I love Chris Bodie, you know, and I listened to a trumpet player like him so much that I went out, I bought a book, and I've started back to play my horn again. So at the end of the day, it's just there for me, you know, and if it's there for you, you never let go of that.
That's right.
And you can run, but you can't hide.
It becomes part of you.
It's part of me. Though I, began to become a band leader, bass player, then evolved this evolution as a vocalist.
Right.
And the story behind becoming a vocalist, honestly speaking, is truly amazing because I never thought I could sing. My younger sister, Ruby Baker is her name, our first band, at 16 years old, she was the lead singer. And at 12 years old, she was opening for B.B. King, man. Wow. She was opening for a guy named Rufus Thomas, James Brown. Big people back then. And seeing someone with a phenomenal talent like that, you never felt yourself that, well, is there anything in me to say that I can sing? But you see, when I graduated college, went away to do things I wanted to do in my life, came back and started continuing to do things with bands, I realized, wow, I can't find anyone to sing. What I call the fear monster win, which we'll speak about later. I was determined to say, I have to do this.
Yeah.
So I'll say to the audience that, to be a peak performer, you got to learn to feel the fear and get the job done.
Most definitely.
So at the end of the day, couldn't find a vocalist. What did Greg Griffith do? I became a vocalist.
You had to do what you had to do.
Took vocal lessons. Had a very motivating, inspiring vocal teacher. She told me, Gregory, I put my last dime on you. I believe in you. And let me tell you something. It was something about that motivation. It was something about someone reaching out to me and saying, you can do it.
That's right. That's right.
You see, and when that happened in my life, I never looked back. I never, ever looked back. And that's just me, the singer. And as you'll find out more about me, there are a lot of things about me that I determined myself to say, don't look back.
Don't look
back. It's simply as it's just water under the bridge of life.
Right.
And there are no failures. One of the things that you'll hear me say a lot is that you're the umpire in the game of life. In real baseball, there's an umpire, you strike out, you're out. No, man, you go to bat as often as you like till you hit the home run.
So, Greg, let me ask you this. So, you spoke of your brother. That's your older brother, right?
My only brother, yes.
Your only brother. So he's the one who started it all.
He started it all. He started it all. He gave me his trumpet that, unfortunately for me, one day, I left school, 8th grade, went to the bus stop. He just got my trumpet re-lacquered. Everything redone on that horn like brand new. Got on the school bus, having a lot of fun with my friends. Got off the bus, and as soon as I stepped off the bus, I realized my trumpet. I left it on the bus, man. I'll never forget that empty feeling of not to mention thinking I was gonna get beat to death when I got home. I thought my brother was gonna kill me because I lost the trumpet, But I ran after the bus, man. I ran after the bus thinking I could get my trumpet back, and it was this empty feeling of, oh wow. So I played French horn for a little while because my mom couldn't afford to buy me another one. We couldn't even rent a trumpet then, and I played French horn for a little while. But then eventually I got another trumpet.
So. So let me get this straight, right? So you left it in the bus.
I left it on the bus.
You ran after the bus.
Couldn't get to the
bus driver couldn't see it.
Couldn't see me doing like this. There's my trumpet, man. Stop.
So you lost your beloved trumpet.
Exactly.
Oh, what a tragedy.
It was a hard feeling.
Did you finally get another one?
I did. I played French horn for the rest of the school year and then come back the next year and got back in the band. Fortunately, my mom and my brother helped me out. My mother was able to get me another trumpet.
Wow.
And I started. You know, same way with my first bass guitar. My brother bought it for me. You know, and I'll never forget he bought one of my first bass guitars, but then he bought me a real guitar. It's in my closet right now. It's a 1972 Fender Jazz bass. And it's vintage.
Electrical.
Oh yes, it's vintage. You know, so yes, my brother's been more of a father figure in my life. He really has. He led by example about a lot of things about entrepreneurship and just doing the things that were necessary to move forward with life. You know, my mom had a gentleman in her life that was like my stepdad. I loved him, but you know, it wasn't until the age of actually about 6 years ago at 50 that I discovered my biological father.
Wow.
And when I did, that story is, that's a very powerful story about how against all the odds, when I decided to become an author, that as a result of that, things happen.
Okay. Well, you know what? We have a whole lot to say, a whole lot to talk, but we have to take a break. Thank you very much for watching Who's Who, Kimun Kikimun. We have to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Who's Who, Kimun Kikimun.